Rudeus Greyrat, a powerful mage since birth, a user of incantationless magic, a prodigy child, and an absolute horn dog? Sit back, everybody, as I do a deep investigation on this fiend, this creature, this. Okay, so this is gonna be my first time doing something like this besides my shorts. Hope it goes well. So, let's begin the investigation. So let's get the elephant out of the way. Rudeus, before he was reincarnated, lived his life in complete solitude to the age of 34. Wow. He had no education, no employment, no training, but after he got hit by Truckoon, everything flipped. Sent to an isekai, and within the first 3 minutes of the first episode, it begins.
Oh, her tits are huge.
City of the isekai genre has been released.
To start everything off, he starts exploring around the place, getting a good feel of his surroundings, until he discovered a piece of lingerie. First thing he does is going for a sniff. And I want to take a detour real quick. What in the world is Roxy doing here? Let me remind you, she was hired to teach Rudeus magic, and on the second episode, she's partaking in freakish activities. But back to this dude. From looking up her skirt to keeping a pair of her undergarments, which he still has, it's safe to say this dude is freaky. But as much as it will be fun to talk about his perverted behavior, I do have to address his other activities. And this is where we meet Sylphiette. One day, Rudeus was walking around the village and by chance, he saw her getting bullied. And of course, he had to step in. And the first time he met her, bro thought she was a he. And with that information in mind, this brings us to our next scene. This man Rudeus took Sylphiette's clothes off so they could bathe after being drenched in rain. Oh my god, this scene felt like it lasted an hour. It was so hard to watch, and it doesn't help that Sylphiette kept telling bro not to. And all of this was just the first 3 episodes. Now this next part, this is straight criminal activity. So here's what's happening. Rudeus wanted a job because he wanted to enroll in basically Hogwarts with Sylphiette. So Rudeus asked his father, Paul, to find him a job. So Paul found him a job. Rudeus would have to teach this spoiled girl Eris how to use magic and also how to read, write, and do math. And before we get into the crime, let me tell you before I forget. Eris is the second cousin of Rudeus. Now with that out of the way, let's get onto the diabolical crime this man committed. This man Rudeus, this vile demon, touched her in her sleep. This freaky beak attempted to remove her undergarments. Oh my god. Somebody do something with this man. Send this nigga to impale down right now. Have him suffer through the frozen hell. Now we come to episode 8. Eris and Rudeus were about to get freaky. Until Rudeus went too far and they both had to stop. Now this next incident isn't about him being a hornball for once, but instead watching a fellow adventurer straight up die. These adventurers were at risk of dying fighting an overgrown snake. Like, what the hell is this thing? And Rudeus' party formed with him. Eris and this dude were gonna go help them, but Rudeus felt as if they waited, it would make their heroic save look more badass. And it would have, but not everything that goes according to plan.
Sweet Jesus! Lord have mercy! My baby!
This man Rudeus got thrown in jail for petting a dog. Like, bro, this dude was stripped naked, put in a cage, and had mud chucked at him. And bro was there for days. So after all of that, Rudeus ends up finding his father after the massive teleportation outbreak. Not gonna go into detail about it. All you need to know is everybody got mass teleported around the world. So after Rudeus found Paul, they got into a squabble.
Fight back, nigga! Fight back, nigga! Fight back! Fight back!
So now this next part is insanely crazy. So while the dead end party is walking in an ice cave trying to make their way back to Eris' kingdom, they end up getting ran up on by the dragon god. Bro, Rudeus and Eris, they were for real shitting bricks. And if you want to know how serious this situation was, this bull jumped off the cliff to avoid this man's wrath. What type of man are we dealing with? Rudeus, not knowing who bro is, started a conversation with him, and everything was going smooth. Until Orsted asked him if he was familiar with the name Man God. The moment, and I mean the moment this little nigga Rudeus said I am, Orsted didn't waste no time. He immediately tried to strike a fatal blow. So now a big brawl just broke out. Orsted and Rudeus are having a clean 1v1 until he gets folded. Eris said it's my turn and immediately got swatted like a fly. Rudeus ends up shooting bro with a hollow purple, but Orsted, being him, blocks it and ends up running his fist right through him. But Rudeus ends up living because Orsted brings him back to life. So after that long adventure, Rudeus and Eris find their way back to her kingdom. Well, what's left of it. This place was eradicated. Nothing was standing. The royal family was dead. Eris' grandpa got executed. Her mother and father died during the mass teleportation. But after all of that, Rudeus and Eris decide to get active, and they actually do.
Is that dick good?
Yes, kid.
How good is that dick?
Oh,
How good is that dick, bitch?
The next day.
Eris left. While bro was sleeping, Eris took off with Ghislaine and they went on an adventure. This crushed Rudeus. Bro was not leaving his bed. It took the entire episode for bro to regain some motivation, and that's only because he had to find his mother. I'm gonna cut to the chase. This entire season was basically about Rudeus suffering with depression and his glizzy malfunctioning. But the season doesn't do as much freak shit as it did before. So here's what's going on. Rudeus is in the back of a wagon getting a ride to a small village. And in that wagon, there are 5 other adventurers. Now at this point in time, Rudeus is still depressed thinking about Eris. Now one of those adventurers tries checking on the poor lad. And bro almost lost control of himself, but he held it together. So after Rudeus makes it to the village, he immediately disbands his party, you know, cause they all separated. So after all that, Rudeus goes to look for a job to get his bread up, but these adventurers from before convinced him to tag along. And these adventurers were tasked with eliminating a whole bunch of snow badgers. And everything immediately went wrong. They got ran up on. They were fighting for their lives, and this dude Rudeus really lost the will to live. And this massive snow badger came out of nowhere and was about to KO him until his teammate came and saved him. Now this moment brought him back to the light. So his squad was about to get wiped until Rudeus stepped up and hit these snow badgers with a damn nuke. So Rudeus goes to his room after collecting his payment, and this dude, dead ass, pulls Roxy's panties out of his pocket and proceeds to cry into them. Whatever makes him feel better, I guess. So Rudeus starts his grind. Bro out here jogging, hitting push-ups, and I was just about to praise bro until he started praying to a shrine of Roxy's panties.
I beg your pardon?
So in this village, Rudeus done got himself a good, positive reputation. They nicknamed him Quagmire.
We're leaving town today, Quagmire.
And I hope they don't mean Glenn Quagmire. He out here helping shoveling snow, lighting up town square, healing this stupid kid for falling and scraping her knee. He really on that redemption arc. So after Rudeus and that party from before completed a job, they out here celebrating. But then this dude came over trying to apologize, making a fool of himself. But in the process, he starts beefing with Rudeus. You know something, nigga? I really do hate your ass. It's like your entire demeanor. It's really upsetting me. And what's with that goofy ass smile of yours? I know there's something irritating you. Is basically what he said. So he grabs Rudeus by the shirt, saying how he can see right through him, and leaves the room. So later on, the party from before comes rushing into the guild, saying how they got absolutely wiped and how 2 of their party members are either dead or missing. Rudeus then takes it upon himself to go rescue them. So while Rudeus is walking in the forest, he stumbles upon a pile of bones, and inside of them he finds the remains of the guy with green hair. So after packing up his remains, he also discovers that Sarah is still alive. He rescues her from the tree and decides to lay low inside of a cave. Inside the cave, he eventually heals her body, and this has to be the most respectful I honestly have ever seen him. So they waited till sunrise and eventually got back to the village nice and safely, only suffering 1 casualty. So because Rudeus saved Sarah, she actually caught feelings for him.
Let's go!
So they were about to get busy, but it all failed because Rudeus couldn't get it up. So remember this dude from before? He pulls up to Rudeus talking crap once again. So Rudeus got pissed off and clocked him in the jaw. So now Rudy is out here pouring his feelings out onto him, the words and fist. So after all that, they became friends. So now Rudy is out here taking down dragons and some shit. Bro really is him now. But once again, when I try to praise him, he does stuff like this.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
So this elf woman pulls up. She was one of Paul's old adventuring buddies. She comes to deliver an invitation to Rudeus. Because of his top tier magic skills, he actually got accepted into Hogwarts. So before I cut to him going to Hogwarts, I want to talk about how this chick was out here receiving back shots in the upstairs window. Now, not a lot of freaky activities happened while he was at Hogwarts until he found out these two broke his prized possession. So they get into a squabble. Rudeus ends up beating these two effortlessly. So he ties them up until he can find a fitting punishment for them.
What do you mean by that?
But Rudeus decides to touch one of their breasts to see if his glizzy still worked. At this point, he can't be stopped. This dude really is a criminal. So later on, he gets Fritz/Sylphiette to deal with him. Oh yeah, she disguised herself as a guy named Silent Fritz. She also attends Hogwarts. So now this big brolic dude comes to challenge Rudeus to a fight, so they make a deal. If Rudeus could take him down with one shot, he wins. So he summons Bullet Bill and lets that thing rip. And he almost kills this dude. So in the end, Rudeus won and the entire school got to see how much aura this man has. He basically runs Hogwarts. But once again, when I praise this man, he goes and does stuff like this. But now here we are. Sylphiette wants to tell Rudeus who she really is, but she's also scared that he might have forgot about her. So she gets the idea to reenact what happened on Season 1, Episode 3. So if they're out in the forest looking for something that's not even real, Sylphiette decides to make it rain, they get drenched in rainwater and decide to take cover in a cave. So while they're there, Rudeus starts drying his clothes. He was about to offer to dry hers, but he remembered what happened the last time. He turned around so she could undress, but she didn't. So Sylphiette then said, "Can you do it for me?" So in the process of doing it, Rudeus ends up figuring out who Fritz really is. And I gotta tell you, I almost shed a tear on this part, man.
This shit means something to me, man.
So they were about to get busy, but again, Rudeus had the same problem from before. So a day later, Sylphia gets a bottle of the Freak potion. Both her and Rudeus drinks it, and it happens. My boy was able to score.
Is that dick good? Yes, kid. How good is that dick? Oh.
So after that, Rudeus then proposed to her, and guess what? She said yes.
What the fuck happened? What happened? What happened? What the fuck happened?
So that concludes the diabolical investigation of Rudeus Greyrat. Now, speaking from an investigation point of view, let's go over this man's list. Multiple counts of sexual assault, acts of bravery, misdemeanor, self-defense, public indecency, search and rescue, assault on a sacred animal, contributing to society, involved in murder, providing medical attention, trading jobs, and chasing that paper, and probably more. You decided this man is guilty or not, but I gotta say, this anime is really amazing. It's staying in my top 3 isekais. You can't say nothing about it. Also, let me know if the manga or novel is even more diabolical than the anime. But before I dip, please forgive me if I mispronounce anything in this video. Like and subscribe for more content like this. Peace.